Hey guys, Dr. Tom Chaney here, back with another video. In this video, I want to answer the question, is sleep important for a type 2 diabetic or a pre-diabetic? So we're going to go through this research paper and I want to talk about some of the results from this paper. But before I do that, I can tell you that, I've worked with thousands of type 2 diabetics over the years, and the group of patients that are the most challenging to stabilize their blood sugar and to help, get better control over their blood sugar is definitely the ones that are working night shift. I definitely see that that's the most challenging group. They're usually not getting enough sleep. They're on this irregular cycle, which I see is very damaging to the body in general. So, I do recommend to those patients that if they can get a day shift position, that would greatly benefit their health. And so we see it reflected in the logs on their lab results. So what I want to do is take this to not only clinical significance, but also I'm going to show you some of the research that supports some of these things that I see in day-to-day practice. And hopefully it'll help you and just really emphasize the importance of sleep. A lot of my patients that I do see are retired, and they give me the excuse that they don't have to go to bed at a certain time or get up at a certain time. So they may stay up late watching TV. They may fall asleep in front of the TV, and then they'll wake up in the middle of the night, and then they can't go back to sleep, and they go through this period where it's very irregular. It's not on a cycle. You're not you don't have a set schedule. So I see that clinically that is not good for regulating blood sugar. Now, this particular paper is discussing how a single night of sleep deprivation, how that affects your body, and specifically how it causes and creates insulin resistance in multiple metabolic pathways. And this is in healthy subjects. This is not even in diabetic or pre-diabetic. So let's go through this. So let's scroll down here, and I want to go into, so they looked at, if we look at the research design and methods, there were 9 healthy subjects, 5 men and 4 women. So they were studied, so they had a normal night of sleep, and then they were studied after that, and then they had a night of sleep deprivation of just 4 hours of sleep. And then what they showed, the conclusion is partial sleep deprivation during only a single night induces insulin resistance in multiple metabolic pathways in healthy subjects. This physiologic observation may be of relevance for variations of glucose regulation in patients with type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So, what does that mean? So let's go through a few things. So insulin resistance. So if you're a type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetic, you probably have heard the term insulin resistance. So those cells stop listening to insulin. One of the jobs of insulin is to get that glucose out of the bloodstream and deliver it to the tissue, to the cells, where they are then, that glucose is either burned or stored for later use. So if you are insulin resistant and you can't get the blood sugar out of the bloodstream, it's going to build up into the system, and then you're going to see a dysregulation in blood sugar. So insulin resistance it's the early signs that your body is having challenges regulating blood sugar. So blood sugar is going to go up, and then typically what's going to happen, you're going to see body composition change. So what the body's going to do is it's going to once again see that there's excess sugar in the bloodstream, and your body's going to start compensating and looking for ways to get the sugar into a better range so it doesn't damage organs and tissues in the body. So what's it going to do with the glucose? Well, one of the things it can do is it can start storing it, packaging that glucose up as fat and storing it as fat. So one of those indicators that you're starting to get insulin resistant, you're starting to lose muscle mass and starting to gain fat mass. Another indication on labs, if you're looking at triglycerides, you may start seeing your triglycerides go up. You may see an imbalance in your lipid panel. And so you look at the LDL, total cholesterol, HDL, but triglycerides are typically one of those markers that you're going to see go up when you're becoming insulin resistant. So that's an early sign that things are not going very well inside the body, and that you're starting to show those early signs of blood sugar dysregulation. So I hope from this video you get the importance of sleep. So not only the quantity, but I want to also just emphasize that getting on a schedule, going to sleep at a certain time and waking up at a certain time, keeping that schedule. So if you are retired, I would emphasize just looking at your schedule and say, okay, what time am I going to go to sleep? What time am I going to get up? And let's try to stick to that schedule, maybe only varying 60 minutes on either end, so that your body gets into that normal rhythm. That's also so important while you sleep. You're healing while you sleep. Your body goes through different cycles of healing while you're sleeping. And so when you're not sleeping, you're getting less than you're not able to sleep. Well, this showed 4 hours, so they had 4 hours of sleep, showed insulin signs of creating insulin resistance. So upwards of 7 to 8 hours, that's what we're shooting for. But when you're getting less than that, that's when you're starting to create dysfunction, and you're going to create chronic disease. So hope you got some good information from this video. If you do, if you did like it, go ahead and hit that like button. Share it with your, anyone that you know that's having issues with blood sugar. So they're pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic. Also, I'm going to put a link down below. So if you want more information on how we approach type 2 diabetes, I'm going to put a link to our webinar. You can sign up for our free webinar down below, and you can join myself, Dr. Steph. We get into more details about the traditional and conventional approach for type 2 diabetes, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, and we go through our approach. We talk about the differences. One of the things we focus on is functional medicine and improving function in the body. So we're able to do that by looking at certain lifestyle, looking at nutrition, looking at habits like sleep habits, and really addressing the underlying root causes of why your body is not healthy. And we want to focus on the entire body and not just focus on individual parts. These different organs, glands, they don't work in a vacuum. They work with each other. So we want to focus on the entire body and optimizing the entire body so that you can be as healthy as possible. So I'll see you in the next video, guys.